Hey, I'm coming to you from my new chair. Ooh. So, I want to make a video about this. This is something I'm thinking about quite a bit recently. And this is about Endgame versus Avatar at the box office. Um, when Endgame first came out, I was pretty sure that it wouldn't beat Avatar. Well, maybe 50% sure, let's say. Then, a couple weeks later, I was very sure that it would because it was super strong, making big money both here and in foreign countries. Right now, everything's changed. You can look up articles uh, that websites are actually putting out saying that people are not sure whether Endgame is going to beat Avatar for that number one worldwide highest box office gross spot. Um, and it's interesting. Especially interesting to me because I'm someone who is sort of a centrist in this race, if you will, where I really like the MCU more than a lot of people. I consider myself kind of an MCU fan, just in general. I tend to like a lot of the MCU movies that people don't like as much. I think they're pretty damn good. Um, and I've seen every one. So I want it to beat Avatar because of that, because it is something that hasn't really been done with a movie franchise before. I mean, I was there um, at Comic Con 2007 where I got that Cloverfield poster when they showed the Iron Man trailer for the first time. So if anything, I feel connected to the MCU because of that. But I think it's kind of cool that a random ass movie like Avatar could come out and and take the spot, or at least random ass as people today would have you believe. There's really a lot of factors that both went into Avatar's release and to why it made so much money when it did, and why it's important in the first place. And it is a beautiful looking movie. Writing is, as we know, pretty cliche, not very creative. But I like that it's the top spot. I like that James Cameron is just this director that audiences enjoy, that he just kind of knows how to pull the crowds in. And I mean, Avatar didn't even look like it was getting buzz that much before it came out. I was sure it was going to bomb, and I was very much looking forward to it. Um, and it's like you can't game an audience. You know what I mean. Like you can't trick an audience so much. Like there's something there, which is the reason why Avatar was such a big success, and all these other 3D movies that were coming out around the time were. People will tell you it's just the 3D. But I think most of Avatar's gross was really due to foreign countries. And let's get into the actual numbers recently with what's been going on, because they're interesting. And I don't have them in front of me because my computer's not working right now, but I'll try my best to remember. So, Endgame last weekend, just in the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, made almost exactly 100 million at the foreign box office. At that point, after that weekend, it had almost exactly 300 million to go to beat Avatar at the worldwide box office. And that seemed very doable. Made 100 million worldwide that week, made, I want to say, 75 million just in the US alone. So, I mean, that's 175 total worldwide just in one weekend. Not even considering the week, which, doesn't make that much, but you can get 5 million a day, and that does add up. So that was just really looking like, yeah, I said on Facebook I'd give it 3 weeks. But now apparently, I haven't been able to look at the exact numbers of this, but I've watched some videos, I've read some things. Endgame's foreign gross has been dropping a lot just during the weekday. It's been down over 50%. So, we're looking at 300 less than Avatar. And say we're looking at 50% of 100, which is 50, probably going to be a little less than that. So we're looking at 50 million plus a domestic gross of possibly 30 million, because apparently John Wick is doing super well on the early showings. And people are thinking that Endgame is going to make 30 million this weekend. Might not even be number one. So that is a total of 70 million. Which, when you add that, when you subtract that from not quite 300, but let's let's subtract 25 million for the weekday gross. So 275 million. You subtract 70 million from that. You still got 205 million to go. So that's really a lot. And Endgame has a lot of time to beat it, but it also has a lot of competition. And Endgame and Avatar aren't really comparable, is the thing. Endgame and Infinity War are very comparable, and people are using that knowledge to track how Endgame is going to do. Apparently, Endgame right now, just this week, started doing super similar to Infinity War after it was beating it hand over fist for the first couple weeks. People were going in droves, people were going early. Now I guess they're not going anymore. So now it's tracking a lot like Infinity War. There was a YouTuber, I watched a video by him. His name is Dr. Ito, I-D-O. I think it's a character from the Alita movie. I don't know much about his channel, but I think he makes a lot of Alita videos. And he made a video about this where he said, and he seemed to really know what he was talking about. He had graphs. And he said that if Endgame tracked exactly like Infinity War, it would beat Avatar by the end of its run by $1 million. By $1 million, which in the grand scheme of things is a pretty good amount. But doesn't seem like much when you consider the amount of total millions would be about 2,000, right? 2,000 million. So a billion is 1,000 million, so it'd be 2,789 million. That's a lot of millions, so 1 million doesn't seem like that much when you consider that. And we could really be looking at nothing here. That's only if it tracks like Infinity War, which it might not, because people have seen it. They came, they're not going to come again. No matter how many hashtags you put on Twitter, no matter how much you hate on Avatar and say it has no cultural impact, which honestly, they should get t-shirts because they love saying that so much. They should get no cultural impact t-shirts. So it's really going to be really interesting to watch. This is just something you don't see often. Infinity War really did not come close to beating that worldwide total. I was just looking at another tweet today that said that Avatar made all its Chinese money on 6,000 screens, and Endgame is making its money on 60,000 in China. And I don't think the differences are that big in terms of it. About a week ago, I checked the foreign grosses by country comparing Avatar to Endgame. Avatar had a lot more in some countries. It was a big worldwide hit. It came out, I think, at the end of August when there wasn't much competition, and it had legs, as they say, to make its money over a long period of time, whereas Endgame is going to be in theaters for a very long time, but it's just going to be diminishing and diminishing and diminishing. It's not going to have these kind of rises and falls that Avatar did. Apparently, Avatar never made over 70 million in a single weekend, which Endgame did, but it just managed to make a whole lot. So I think that's all I really have to say about it. I just wanted to get on here and talk because to me, it's I don't want to be some nerd and say like, oh, it's just like watching sports, but it's a little like that. It's just a race, and it's something that matters to people. Which is funny because I think a lot of these Avatar haters would sort of have you believe that like, oh, they're just doing it for fun, but they never shut up. Like Avatar gets so much hate, like it's just like consistent. So let me tell you, the haters care about it losing just as much as just as much as I care about seeing the result, period. Because I don't really mind if Endgame wins or if Avatar stays on, but maybe I want to see Avatar be number one for a few more years. So let me know if you have any opinions about that. And I guess thanks for watching. We'll see what happens.